What's up, everybody? I'm Marcus.
I'm Ryan.
And together,
we are the Northwest Sports Fanatics.
The NBA playoff time.
Right.
We're here with the West Side preview. Let me get the West Side up in there for y'all. Oh, West Side. We're going to preview the Western Conference here today. Let's kick it off with the number 1 seed, the San Antonio Spurs, and they're going up against the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
All right. Now, the Mavericks, they're led by, of course, the German, Dirk Nowitzki.
Right.
He's averaging 21 points per game this year. They also have a great coach in Rick Carlisle. To me, top 5 coach in the league right now. They have a very, very, very underrated player in Mr. Monte Ellis. They have some veterans, Sean Marion, a resurrection of his career, Vince Carter.
Played good this year.
He's hooping, and he is still hooping good. He averaged 12 points a game and shot 39% from the threes. But in this series, the big key for me is going to be Devin Harris. He has to contain Tony Parker because, I love Jose Calderon. I like his savvy and the things that he do on the court, but defense is not one of his strong suits, and then that's where Devin Harris comes into play. What about the San Antonio Spurs, the OGs?
The Spurs. They had a little scare. They were down by 10 in the fourth quarter. Tony Parker, he did his thing, spin moves and, obviously getting to the hole, doing what he normally does, exciting the crowd. Combined, the big three, Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili, 65 points, 17 rebounds, 9 assists.
Hey, that's a W every time.
Right, so shout out to the big three. They played great. But what I would like to see is Kawhi Leonard, right, Danny Green, Thiago Splitter, and Boris Diaw step it up a little bit. You only had 23 points combined out of those 4 players, which is a little bit alarming. And Danny Green had 0. So, they are getting some minutes. So that kind of was a little bit alarming. Obviously, in that first game, the long ball. 3 for 17. Normally that's not going to get it done and get you a W, but luckily Parker took over that game in the fourth quarter. They did shoot pretty good from the free throw line, 17 from 22, so that's pretty solid from them. And then one thing that was kind of shocking to me was Patty Mills and Marco Bellinelli. They got a lot of playing time, obviously, but in the rotation, they didn't get very many minutes. They only got 26 minutes combined.
Wow.
Right? And they only had 2 points and 3 rebounds for a guy that won the 3-point contest and a guy that can, back up Tony.
Huge contributor.
And back up Tony Parker and Patty Mills. I just thought the rotation would be a little bit better, but I trust Pop. He knows what he's doing. But the Spurs found a way to squeak it and obviously get past, Dirk and Monte Ellis and Devin Harris. Who is your prediction with the series?
My predictions, I'm going to go Spurs in 6. I do think Dallas could pull a couple of wins out. So I'm going Spurs in 6.
I'm thinking Spurs are going to win as well. I think, like you said, I think Dallas has at least one in them.
Yeah.
Obviously, because Dirk is unstoppable and he gets on fire. At home, Dallas is pretty tough.
And you got Monte, too. So.
Right. And that was a huge addition, another scorer. They never had a real score on Dirk's level until now. Even though Dirk's at the end of his career. But I do pick the Spurs as well to advance.
All right. So let's move on to the next series. We got the number 2 seed, Oklahoma City Thunder. And they're going up against the number 7 seed, the Memphis Grizzlies. Great matchup. Of course, the Thunder, they're led by Mr. KD, MVP. Kevin Durant, just hand that man a trophy right now, 32 points per game. Westbrook. He's kind of coming back and rounding back into form. He averaged 21 points per game. He only played 46 games this year. A key player for me, a lot of people will say Serge Ibaka,
Right.
But I like Reggie Jackson. 13 points per game coming off the bench this year. And also Tough Juice, a.k.a. Caron Butler. He played 56 games this year, and he's averaging 10 points per game coming off that bench and giving them solid minutes. I'm kind of upset because I'm a huge Jeremy Lamb fan, but Butler is giving them that veteran presence, that toughness to go along with Cephalosha and Kendrick Perkins that they need. What about the Grizzlies?
Well, the Grizzlies pulled off the upset last year. Their team was pretty solid. But in this game, Zebo played well. But to me, he was pretty much the only one that really held his own.
Yeah.
21 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. His vertical is about 2 inches. But he finds a way to get you in the block and go up and under, drop steps, and he's pretty solid.
Veteran, man.
But Gasol, Conley, Courtney Lee, Tony Allen, Mike Miller, where are you? I need you to step up if you're going to win. And these stats are alarming. 18 from 31 from the line, 58%, and you're going against OKC. You ain't going to win the game doing that. And then what's even worse, 2 from 11 from 3. 18%. So you can't make free throws, you can't shoot threes, and you only got one guy in the block really doing it.
Where's your offense going?
So the offense isn't there, and there is a chance that Gasol, Conley, Lee, Allen, and Miller can step up, and win maybe a game or two. But I don't really see them winning enough to get past, the Thunder, maybe the team that's most favored to get to the finals.
When you look at the Thunder, you see a team that's focused and a team that's on the mission. I'm going Thunder in 5.
Yeah, I'm thinking the Thunder probably in 5 too, and I think KD is hungry. To me, he's the hungriest player right now in the playoffs, and obviously
you
can see it in his eyes. Maybe not in his play sometimes, and I think that maybe they might be the team of destiny this year.
All right, so let's move on to the next series. Arguably the most exciting series that we have going on right now. The number 3 seed, LA Clippers, they're going up against the number 6 seed, the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors, of course, is led by one of my favorite coaches in the league, Mark Jackson.
Yep.
I love Mark Jackson, hand down, man down, and all that there. Stephen Curry, he averaged 24 points a game this year. He shot 42% from three-point range. Mr. Klay Thompson, 18 points per game. He shot 41%, and combined together, they made 484 threes.
How many?
484 threes.
Woo,
so
wow.
What does that tell you? Get a hand up. They're making 4 out of every 10 shots they shoot from the 3. So don't leave them dudes open. To me, for them to win, they need big games from David Lee. He averaged 18 points on the year, but with no Bogut.
That was huge loss.
Yeah, no Bogut. So they need him to step up and play huge like he did the last game. And also the OG, Mr. Jermaine O'Neal, he's averaging 8 points per game and 6 rebounds this season in limited minutes. He's been, held out a couple of games, but this is the time that they need him fresh and ready to go. What about the Clippers? They lost the first game.
Man, it's tough because the Clippers are a better team. Yeah. If you look at top to bottom, they got the best bench in the league. You got the best point guard in the league in CP3, 28 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. He single-handedly tried to will them to that victory. But at the end, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Jamal Crawford. Man, I just didn't really see what I needed to see from them, and especially Jamal Crawford. He's going to win the 6th Man of the Year. He went 2 for 11, 1 for 5 from the 3, and that's not going to get you a W, especially when you're playing
crossover. Come on, bro.
We need you to step it up. Especially if you're going to win. And I thought a couple other stats were a little alarming. Free throws, 23 for 35, 66%. That's not going to get you a W against the Warriors. And
the playoffs.
And they only shot 42%. From field goals in the game. They need to get that up above 45% if they want to get a W. But one bright spot that not a lot of people are talking about is J.J. Redick.
Okay.
Right? He's been injured almost the whole year. He's had back problems. He's back 22 points. But the most impressive thing to me, he went 8 for 11 in shooting.
Woo,
right? So he's catching fire.
Yeah, that was interesting to see him and Klay Thompson go back and forth.
Right.
Just trading buckets. The best series, man. The best series.
Right, and I think the X factors besides Jamal Crawford, obviously Jay Crosser. You already know what he's going to bring you. Hopefully in most of the games, but to me, it's Matt Barnes and Darren Collison.
Yeah.
These guys, they need at least to me about 22 a game from them. Depending on how many minutes that they get, and they only combine for 10. 10 points, and I know they had limited minutes compared to the Stars, but when they get in the game, you got to make it happen. I mean, you're at home, you can't.
Collison had a chance. He was in there at clutch time. He just fumbled the pass off his.
But I do expect the Clippers to rebound, and it's going to be tough to say who comes out in this series. I know usually if you're at home and you drop that game at home, psychologically you're at a disadvantage. Because you already know if you drop the next one. Next couple games are at home. You're done. So who is your prediction? This is a tough one.
I don't know, man. This is a tough one to predict. But if I have to, I'm gonna go with the better coach that has a ring, and that's been there to the finals. So I'm gonna go Doc Rivers over Mark Jackson. I love Mark Jackson. So I'm gonna go Clippers in 7.
Yeah, I think it's going to go deeper, obviously with the games. And I would say, man, even though the Warriors did win that first game, respect to them, I do think the Clippers will find a way. And I can't see CP3, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan having 3 or 4 more bad games together. No. So I imagine that they'll be able to rebound. It's going to be tough.
So evenly matched teams, right, man. Wow.
And we'll have to see what happens, but I do expect the Clippers to come back in probably about 7 games as well, 6 or 7 games, and be able to find a way to kind of rebound and advance in the obviously the playoffs.
All right, and our next series, the last series, we got to talk about. You see that there?
Yeah.
And that's number 4 seed, the Houston Rockets. They going up against our hometown team here, the Portland Trailblazers. The Rockets, of course, led by the coach Kevin McHale, James Harden, Fear the Beard. He averaged 25 points per game. Dwight Howard, he averaged 18 points a game, along with 12 rebounds. And a very, very solid Chandler Parsons. I like Chandler Parsons. One of the key stats for me about this Rocket team is that James Harden, he shot 36% from threes, which is pretty good.
Right.
But if his shot selection was a little bit better, I think he can push that up to 40% for the year.
Right, I think so too.
And the X factor for this game, it's going to be Mr. Patrick Beverley. He kind of injured his right knee, sprained it, so we're going to keep getting updates if he's going to be ready. He averaged 10 points a game. They need his energy, his peskiness, and his defense on Lillard is going to be a key if the Rockets thinking about advances to the next level. What about our Rip City over there?
Man, I got a big smile on my face, man. Watching that game, and I know Blazer fans and Northwest fans, out here, I don't think a lot of people thought we were going to win that game. It's a tough environment, and you got a lot of the flopping, and then the referees. I mean, if you watch that game, that was one of the worst officiated games I've seen in a long time.
That was pretty
and
bad.
It's one thing when Harden flops, 3 or 4 times in a game, but when he gets it to the point where he's doing it 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times a game, it's a little out of control, too much. But shout out to the Blazers. LaMarcus Aldridge had a career night, 46 points, 18 rebounds, and he not only had his career best game, right, in his career, but he actually set the Portland Trailblazer all-time playoff record with that before he fouled out. And Lillard played good too. In Lillard's first playoff game, I was truly impressed. 31 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. And in the duo of them, it's the first time that they've actually had a guy score 45 and over 30 since Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen in 1992.
Wow.
So, you're in good company there. And also, LaMarcus is the only player besides Wilt Chamberlain to score 45 points and have more than 15 rebounds, right, in Game 1 on the road. If you're in Wilt Chamberlain country, shout out to you, LaMarcus Aldridge. You're stepping up, and you're really showing that Blake Griffin and Kevin Love, they may be in that elite status, but don't sleep on LA.
Same thing I was about to say. Best power forward in the game.
Yeah, LA, he's starting to kind of step it up. But one thing I did have a concern about, 7 bench points. You had 122 points in the game, 115 by your starters, and only 7. So what that tells me is Mo Williams.
Come on, Mo.
Right? Give me some Mo. 1 for 6 and 3 points, Mo, is not going to get it done. And, we were very lucky to get, by in that overtime game. We got down by 6 real early with 2 3-point plays. It wasn't looking good. But, I do respect Robin Lopez. That's a hard matchup with Dwight Howard. You're getting elbowed. You're getting beat up, and they're not calling it in your favor. Wesley Matthews had a pretty good game. Batum started off slow, heated up at the end. 38 points combined.
There's some great plays at the end.
Right, great defense and some great plays at the end. And even Aldridge had a couple threes, which was very uncharacteristic for him. Made both of them. 9 from 27, 33%. From deep. 42 for 97, 43% in the field goals. So pretty good. But it's going to be a series. Just because we won Game 1 doesn't mean that we're going to win the series, but it definitely gives us a little advantage and psychological advantage. But it's going to be an exciting series to see what happens.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an exciting series. But 7 points off the bench. Come on, Mo. Come on, Darrell. I'm not looking for too much scoring from T-Rob. And plus in the playoffs, those minutes is restricted because it's now or never. Ain't no I'm on a minutes restriction. Ain't none of that.
Right.
So we definitely need someone else off that bench to step up. Prediction for me, I'm going to go Blazers in 6.
Yeah?
I'm going Blazers in 6. I do believe that they have the one thing that the Rockets don't have, and that's LaMarcus Aldridge, the best power forward in the game. he creates so much disadvantages and mismatches. And I'm looking for the adjustments. I'm thinking they're going to put Dwight on him this game.
Yeah, possibly.
And that's going to be bad for Houston. He's going to get that man in foul trouble.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to go 6 or 7. It's going to go an extended series. I do see Houston fighting back. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm thinking that Houston will rebound and win game 2. But we got 2 games at home, and if Blazers take care of business, you're up 3-1. But chances are when we get to home, don't be surprised if we split at home and then the series goes a little bit longer. Because with obviously with James Harden and Howard, I'm really curious to see how it's officiated. Is it going to be officiated the same way? Because I didn't really like how it was officiated.
NBA, man, that was one of the worst officiated games I've seen.
And the flopping needs to be under control. There needs to be some technical fouls for the flopping because, you're doing it like 2 or 3 times a game, but when you have almost all the guys in the starting lineup doing it, flipping their head back, sticking the leg out, falling down, it's
man up, dog. Right? It's the playoffs, man.
It's frustrating, man. Even if the Blazers would have lost that game, it's really frustrating to watch as a fan. We want a clean game.
It's a bad product,
right?
Man.
We want something. This is the NBA. We want to see the best of the best, and it just seemed like. And also a key stat: 0 free throws for Houston in the first half.
How many in the second half?
Like 40. Right? Are you kidding me? So a little conspiracy theory there against the Blazers. I think that that's a little out of control. I know they try to make it up, kind of like the makeup calls, but you got to kind of play it even.
40 free throws.
Come on, man.
I don't think the Wizards shot 40 free throws the whole game, and you got 40 in one half.
Right. So we'll have to see how it goes, but I do think about Blazers in 6 or 7. I think we since we won game 1, that was the key.
All right. So there you have it. We'll be back at you guys soon to give you a recap and to keep you up to date on what's going on in these playoff series.
Right, and articles every day, videos. We'll try to get them up as soon as we can. Share the page, like the page, tell a friend.
To tell a friend, to tell a friend.
Northwest Sports Fanatics. Let's go, Rip City.